Around here, we are always reaching for the next new party idea. But honestly, the party ideas will come pouring forth when you take a moment to imagine the end result. Let's step away from the checklist and to-dos for just a moment and instead find our ways to imaginative entertaining that is just right for your family in this moment. Laura Johnson built an entire company on entertaining and the beautiful products that go with it. It's called Coton Colors in Tallahassee, Florida. Celebrations are her jam. Laura, welcome to Studio 5. Thanks for jumping into our space today.
So happy to be here.
I know gathering is a big part of your life. Tell us how.
Tell us how to gather. Wow, that's a big question. Yes, gathering is what it's all about. And I learned that a long time ago when at the birth of my three daughters. As our family grew, not only it just kept adding to our numbers, we just wanted to be together all the time. And it just grew from family member as they all grew up. We just continued to have different ways to gather, and we didn't want to be bored, so we wanted to come up with different ways to do so. And it's just fun to get together and realize that along the way, it kind of became a pattern for us, and we wanted to make it easier because it's not easy always to entertain. So,
well, one of your mantras I know is take excuses off the table. What do you mean by that?
Well, I found that we have a lot of women that work in our company, and I kind of was quizzing them. Said, you don't entertain. Why? And it always seemed to appear that something kind of stood in the way of that. And we kind of formulated it as excuses, but it was really kind of when we dug in, it was more like, I don't have space, or I don't have time, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the room. And those all just turned into what I called excuses, because you can get around all of those and it's getting in your way. It's really these things that kind of stop you from doing something you may really enjoy.
Well, whether it's, let's say, a Thanksgiving gathering or a birthday party, whatever the occasion, you say we often skip the very first step in planning, which is to be thoughtful about it.
Right, exactly. And I think you always want to start with an idea with the end game in mind and really get to the purpose of what you're really wanting to do and why. Because when you boil it down, entertaining and gathering people together is really about making them feel special, and to make them feel special is the end game. So thinking of those ways to do so makes it worth it. And if you think about that kind of frames what you're doing it for, helps you guide you in the thoughtfulness behind it, because you want them to feel a certain way when they're here, when you're entertaining with them.
This is a lovely Southern streak about you, I sense, and I appreciate you inspiring us. And we'll invite you to do so with 9 ways to wow guests. You say it can start with the invitation.
Yes, the invitation sets the tone and the mood, and it's really important because it gives people something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be fancy. Don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money or time or have to be artistic to do it. It's just take a moment and think about what that person's going to feel like and what they're going to want to anticipate, because that's setting it up. It's giving them something to look forward to.
If you're maybe executing a theme, this would apply, but even if you're just trying to set that thoughtful mood that you talked about, you say it starts at the front door.
Yes, that's the beginning of the party. That's the beginning of the gathering. The guests have been anticipating it, whether a text came through or a snail mail arrived in their mailbox. They've been thinking about the event leading up to it, but when they get there, that's the first time that you can let them kind of decompress and get even more interested and excited to walk through and enter the event.
So what are some ideas? What can we do to that front entryway to make it feel as you described?
You can make it very welcoming. That's the first thing I think when you entertain. You want people to feel relaxed, beginning to feel relaxed. You want to make them feel a little excited as well. You want to kind of feel a sense of warmth. They want to smell something. They want to see something. Maybe it's candles. Maybe it's a drink at hand, a creative way to present it on a tray. Think outside the box a little bit at your foyer or your front door. How are you going to greet them, and what are they going to see the very first thing when they get in there?
Once they're past the front door, help us know, there's something about inviting people in, kind of drawing them into your space and inviting them to settle and to be with you for an extended period of time. How can we do that better?
Yes, you can. That's the biggest trick of all, and it's really the fun, where the fun really begins. I think it's my favorite thing to do. Is I think of it as a drawing room. Actually, my niece reminded me of this word that in used to be a room that people would gather together, because that's the first time that you're drawing people into the event. You're drawing them all together, if you think about it, and you don't have to use. Don't think of it as like, if I don't have an entry, I don't have a living room, I don't have a dining room. I don't know. We make our drawing rooms all over the house, all over the entry points. And they have, what we like to do in the drawing room is think about it as it's the first time they'll get together, first time they'll see who all's invited. And it's the first time that you can get them the next layer of excitement. And my party trick, as I call it, is to get and something that's kind of fun, because it doesn't have to be so creative. You can just do things in mass. Like we've been known at my birthday party, my daughter surprised me with 100 balloons or a big set of candles in a place. They don't have to sit down. Doesn't have to be something that they're going to be always sitting in. So don't worry about seating. Just kind of make it exciting and fun as well. You can gather group masses of things together that make it easy to execute.
So you're saying kind of create a focal point, create an invitation to come on into this space where we'll party together over the next little while. In fact, one instant party tip that I love, you told my producer you can even move your table to an unexpected place. And I love this because it takes an everyday living room setting or a dining room setting, and suddenly it feels different. It's a party.
Yes. And some people are really afraid of moving their furniture around. And I always think that's so funny. And I want to encourage you not to be afraid of doing this. You can move it back. So take a picture of it of how you liked it and how it was set up. But think about moving your couches into the other room. Have your husband or have your girlfriend or whoever it is, or do it yourself. I've been known to move a piano by myself. So if you have motivation, you can get it done. Okay, I promise you.
We talked about the Southern hosting streak. There's the Southern stubborn streak. I love you more and more.
Exactly. When you got to make it happen for yourself. Is my mantra for sure.
Yes.
So I've been known to move all the furniture out of my living room, bring the dining room table in. You can even use a temporary table because it can always be covered. So you don't have to bring in a wooden table if you don't want to. That's something that may be a little bit more cumbersome. But change it up, put it in front of a fireplace or put it underneath different lighting. It's amazing how moving people around and bringing them in to sit together in a different space that's unexpected is really it kind of elevates it. It makes people kind of fun.
Yes.
We move it outside. We move it under the tree, by the fence, front yard, carports. We've had our tables everywhere in the corner of our houses as we entered.
What I'm hearing you say, Laura, is it sort of throws people off their game, which especially if they're familiar with your space, I'm thinking of Thanksgiving, familiar people gathering in familiar spaces, it kind of throws people off their physical game just enough that it does feel a little special and helps us maybe bring forward our party selves as well. With that, you say a party or a gathering is the best time to change your ambiance, and you like to do that with lighting, right?
Yes. And that also is important because that little extra step of it, sometimes it does require a ladder perhaps, or a little bit of extra effort. Entertaining, we realized a long time ago, it's not effortless, okay? But it's worth it because of the way that you're making people feel. So hanging something over a table, lowering the lights, adding some candles, putting the candles around where you might not expect them always puts people in their best light.
Yes.
And it kind of calms them down too. Low lights calming.
I like that. You're a big fan of a festive table, and with that, you're encouraging people to risk the breakage. Like, now's the time to pull out your best china and just embrace that you might lose some pieces along the way.
Absolutely. And the thing that makes me so sad to hear is when people are scared to use their good things, whether they're passed down from their aunts, they don't want to break them. But think about that. If you just keep all those precious things in a box, they have no stories to tell. They just have a box to see. If you think about the item in there, I mean, it's something that's a loved possession that somebody collected along the way or was given as a special gift. If it's sitting in a box in a closet being protected, it's no life. Okay. We need to get them out of the boxes, show them a good time, and don't be afraid. Nothing is irreplaceable. Nothing is so special that it can't be repaired. It can always be fixed, no matter what.
Finally, we want to, as a hostess, encourage people to linger longer. And you're emphasizing something that's long bothered me, and that's when the hostess gets up and starts cleaning up or doing the dishes. When people are still there, you're saying, no, just sit, just be.
Do not do that. Do not do that, please, because that's the best time for you really to relax as the hostess and to sit down. And finally, it's done.
Yeah.
You need to take a break and and engage with your guest, and that's when the best memories, I think, are made, is at the end.
Yes.
When the meal or all the stuff is cleared away, just quickly do so, have a game plan to get it out of the way, encourage people to stay in place, and then you return, you sit down, you relax, and then and you can always do that, trick them a bit, because people want to be helpful and they want to feel like, I see guests trying to go. Set up a joke or a story or something that keeps them there, that encourages that storytelling, because they'll want to stay.
Yes.
And that'll keep you there as well.
Laura, thank you for helping us host and inspiring us to celebrate and gather, which is what you do at Coton Colors. Tell us more what you offer there.
We offer a wonderfully, beautifully designed line of all types of fun tableware and accessories that can help make any celebration exciting. And they're all designed by us, our creative team, most of them family. My daughter's the lead designer, and we always are coming up with imaginative ways to help you entertain.
I love that it's a family affair. We'll meet you online then?
Where are we online, did you ask? Coton-Colors.
Yeah, we'll meet you online. What's your website?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Laura, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.